One of the suspects involved in Monday's deadly police chase is still at large. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, a warrant has been issued for the driver that was involved in the high-speed chase on I-95 Monday afternoon that claimed the life of one police officer and wounded another. CTV's Molly Navola is in Palmer Park with the details.
Police announced today the arrest of one of the suspects connected to the fatal crash on Monday and their ongoing search for the second occupant in the car. Police say 25-year-old Kenneth Mitchell was found by a surveillance team in Southeast D.C. with the stolen vehicle connected to the crash. They're continuing their search for 23-year-old Kayvon Neal. Both are wanted for auto theft.
Once the vehicle was located, obviously a perimeter was set up, and we began to watch the vehicle along with our partners from the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 3:30 a.m., while under surveillance, the vehicle became occupied by an unknown black male suspect. Once this happened, the surveillance team made an arrest of who we know now as Kenneth Mitchell, our reported suspect in the case. We developed what we now has as our second occupant of this vehicle, which today, after an exhaustive search for him, we're asking the public's help in locating him. His name, as you have, is Kayvon Neal. He currently has an arrest warrant. We would ask the media's help, the continued public's help, into locating Kayvon Neal, along with anyone on 95 at the time of this incident to please come forward and help us put this event together. We all join the police department, become police officers to do two things: help our community and catch bad guys.
Now, police are offering up to a $25,000 reward. Typically, this is a figure reserved for homicide suspects, they say, but the chief of police has said that due to the nature of the case and the fact that it involved the death of an officer, that this number is warranted. In Palmer Park, Molly Navola for CTV News.
And anyone with information on this case is asked to call police at 1-866-411-TIPS. Meantime, police continued to mourn for the fallen officer. Adrian Morris had been an officer for less than 3 years, but was well known in the department when he became a police explorer at the age of 15.
You asked what drove him? He was a little man on a big campus, and he was going to be the big man on campus one day. And he's the big man on campus now.
Morris's partner, Officer Michael Risher, was injured but released from the hospital Monday night after receiving treatment. Well, it's expected to take some time before we know what caused a coal train to jump the tracks, killing 2 college students in Howard County yesterday. Rose Mayer and Elizabeth Noss were hanging out on the tracks when the tragedy occurred. Denise Douglas has the latest from Ellicott City.
The investigation into the derailment here in Ellicott City continues. You can also see behind me that cleanup is underway. Crews are removing the coal from off of the streets. They'll also be taking away some of the cars that fell off of the track. One by one, a crane picks up and takes away the cars that derailed. So far, 18 of the 21 have been removed as investigators try to figure out what caused the accident.
Working with CSX to get all these cars out of here, get this coal out of here, and this line has to be retracked, and so there's a lot of heavy-duty work that has to take place.
The CSX train was traveling from Grafton, West Virginia to Baltimore on Tuesday when it tumbled off the tracks, crushing vehicles in a parking lot below and killing Rose Mayer and Elizabeth Noss. Both were 19.
I think people are depressed, absolutely. I didn't really want to go to many places yesterday.
Michelle Dwyer lives nearby and heard the noise.
It was certainly a loud metal grinding kind of noise, but since I was half asleep, I swore it was the trash men picking up my trash. And then I realized, I said, it's too early for that.
It appears Noss and Mayer were hanging out and drinking on the tracks, even tweeting pictures. But it's not clear on whether they may have caused the accident or happened to be there. Either way, steps are now being taken to block off the area that has been an attractive party spot for teens.
Yeah, that's why we're going to do our best to make it safe, as possible moving forward. It's owned by CSX, all the infrastructure, the railroad company, but they've already sent somebody down to begin to look at that. So our hope is that a tragedy like this never happens again.
Main Street has been closed to traffic while the cleanup work is being done. Officials here are hoping to reopen it in the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, the NTSB says the investigation will be done in several phases, and it could take up to a year to get the final answers as to exactly what happened here. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
And the 3 crew members on the train were not injured. Meantime, Verizon says that customer service may have been disrupted because of the derailment. They'll begin working to restore service once cleanup is complete. Well, a scary morning in Laurel. Police say someone tried to abduct an 11-year-old boy from the bus stop. CTV's Sonia Srivastava is standing by in the newsroom with more.
Well, Patty, this happened around 8 o'clock this morning. The 11-year-old boy is a student at Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School and was waiting to get on the bus in the area of Arbery Court and Van Dusen Road. Police say that's when a dirty white work van with tinted windows with 2 males inside pulled up to the victim and showed him a toy motorcycle and asked him if he wanted it. The young boy ignored the driver, who then got out of the van and started to walk towards the victim. The boy at that point ran away from the scene and contacted his parents. The van then drove away. Now, witnesses say that the van was reportedly picking up scrap materials in the neighborhood prior to that incident. Of course, we will keep you updated if we learn anything else in the newsroom. Sonia Srivastava, back to you.
And anyone with information should contact Laurel Police. That number is 301-498-0092. Well, a 1-year-old boy who was allegedly abducted from his father in District Heights is now, or rather was abducted, is now home safe. Cesar Martinez was found with his father, 31-year-old Julio Ariasa Moya, shortly before midnight in the District Heights area. An Amber Alert had been issued yesterday for the infant and was canceled overnight. The father has been charged with abduction and 2 counts of second-degree assault. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Ballone.